Is up? The Juice Man 3941. Welcome to episode 72. This is entitled Monster Hunter World Part 1. Let me take down the audio settings though, because I know how this game works with its audio settings. You have to kind of like turn some stuff down in order to so you're not getting completely overwhelmed, but this is more of an ambient sound, so it might be okay. So we're going to take it down a little bit, maybe to about 50 on the, and then background down to 50, and we're going to do this sound effect down to 50. Hopefully that'll be enough. Right now I've been playing Monster Hunter World for a little over an hour. I wanted to get my feet wet in the game before I play it. I want to set up by saying this to you here, members of the Gaming Roundtable, and again, pull up a chair if you're able, grab your mug of beer, because that's what I'm drinking, is some Snowdrift Vanilla Porter. It's delicious beer. It gave me a little buzz already. But anyway, I know it's kind of late in the day, but I've been playing this game, and this game is just so impressive. Not only does it still have all the complexity and wonderful nuances of what you would fans of Monster Hunter would expect, but it also brings a kind of accessibility to the game as well. And this is my character here. I'm using a bow. I named him Gillidan Duodine, which is a name I use quite a bit. This is a beautiful, beautiful game world. Right now, I'm at a point where I'm on expedition mode, and I can sit here and just kind of roam around and do whatever I feel like it, and that's nice. And harvest stuff. There's no time limits or nothing. It's not like a main mission. I do have a quest here, so I can actually find this other camp. And the expedition mode takes you all over the island. You also have your main quest. It's actually really nice to actually the game just has this a wonderful accessibility that the other games do not have, but it still has all the intricacies and complexities of the game. Those little fireflies kind of direct you to places so you can find things. It's really nice, and the world in itself is just beautifully realized. Look at this giant tree that's down. It's fairly open world. I want to show you this map. So even though you still have the wonderful classic Monster Hunter 1, 9, 8, whatever things, this entire map is pretty much big and explorable. Now, you can tell here that you can't just go off in any direction, because you can see you have to go this pathway or this little pathway or whatever, which leads to these little side pathways. Sort of in a Souls-like manner is the way the world is set up. So it's not necessarily open world, but it is open enough to play. One of the things I like is I've already been able to get a slightly better bow, and able to does more damage. I've got a better piece of gear here, and I went with the ranged weapons because I love ranged weapons in games, especially roleplay games like this. It's so nice, folks, to play this game, and the game is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's easy to kind of pick up, but hard to master. And I've been a long-time fan of the Monster Hunter series in general, and I love the fact that they made this game much easier. The fact that I'm able to create some armor and weapons right off the bat. The other games that I have experience with is not the handheld games, but I have been playing Monster Hunter. I had a Wii U, and I put over 500 hours into Monster Hunter. I can actually hide here so enemies can't see me. I put in over 500 hours with one character in that game on Monster Hunter Ultimate, and that gave me the love of that kind of genre, which in turn allowed me to have here's some more of these guys came back. We'll attack them real quick. They're running off now. These jaguars. The thing that I love about this series, and one of the things that I just enjoy, okay, so I can't get any more of that, immensely, is the fact that I'm such a big fan that I actually buy most of the games that are like this, from Token and Kiwami to Token 2, Token 2, which is still an amazing game. And then you also have games like your God Eaters, which I own, Resurrection, which is a retelling of 1. I have God Eater 2. I even have Earth Dawn, which Earth Dawn is a side-scroller game, but it has a lot of Monster Hunter-like elements about it. It's very similar to that in a way, but on a side-scrolling level. And then, of course, I have the Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion. And the multiplayer expansion is nice because the expansion is very Monster Hunter like too, and you have to gather stuff from those from the game, and monsters you fight, which helps you upgrade your weapons. So anything that's very Monster Hunter like, I pretty much buy. But to actually finally to be able to play this game on the PlayStation 4 is amazing. Like, I love the fact that I'm able to do that. And so I'm very, very happy to announce that this game is fantastic. It is easy to play. It's great how you join online games. You can actually go to your menu here. I can actually fire an SOS flare, which if I'm fighting a giant monster I'm having difficulty with, it alerts other players that might be online with you, even though they might not be necessarily there with you. You can actually just and they can come to your aid, which I was fighting this big Jaguars earlier, and I just fired SOS, and two other guys showed up randomly to help me, and that was cool. That was just really neat to be able to do. I thought that was one of the cool aspects of the game. And the fact when you get online, you join sessions. Now, there's people who also post quests and do things. I didn't really see anybody, per se, on my online gaming session playing with me, per se. But it's really nice the way they do this. Look at this. Like, you'll just duck automatically. There's a lot of cool traversal. Sometimes you'll push away vines. I developed a new campsite. I'm not really sure. I know this is my whole thing was to find this new campsite or whatever. I don't know if I've actually done that, but here you have it. Seems like that's what I have discovered, per se. But it's a beautiful game, folks. Monster Hunter, if you don't know, is a game where you create your character and you have your little cat friend, your Palico, and this game's created players is fantastic. And basically, what you do is, instead of like leveling your character, you do level your cat friend, but you level your character. You actually kill monsters, fight them, big and small, take their parts, and craft better weapons and armor. And then you've got this cycle, this loop cycle. Of getting these parts and making better weapons and better gear and just fighting better and better stuff as it goes. But it's such a wonderful game with its base systems. It's the way it plays. Once you get acclimated to it, it's an amazing game, folks. It's just a great series, and one that I'm really like. I think it's great. So I head to this new campsite. I'm not really sure. Complete delivery quest to establish your camp. I guess that's a campsite. It looks like I'm supposed to go there. It looks like, watch out. See, this shows you a big monster here that's kind of flowing around, which I can't fight. So there is a waypoint way to set your waypoint, which I like as well. I like that aspect that there's a waypoint counter. This big monster apparently is going towards that X for some reason. Anyway, this has just been, I just love this game. I've always liked it, and even though there's a lot of other games out there that emulate this, as I said before, I have the God Eaters, I have those games. There's still this still has just a certain feel and vibe about it that really sets it apart get these creatures here, kill them. If I want to make any progress, try to take some stuff from them. Okay, got them. That's good. Going to take their parts. Again, it's just a fun game, and the AI is brilliant. There's not really so much in auto-target mode unless you're playing like against a big creature, and then you can auto-target them. But it was just something that they didn't have, that they had in the original games too. It's one of the things though I've always never really quite I understood though, was the fact that Togenin 2, for example, Togenin 2 has this really cool ability. You can actually lock onto any enemy. This game still only lets you lock onto the big creatures, but it's kind of, again, part of its charm. I'm playing basically exhibition mode, which is a new thing, which allows me in this game to kind of go where I want, do what I want, and it's just really neat. Now here's these guys. There's a lot of enemies here. I have to fight them. I gotta dodge out of their attacks, obviously. Do some damage here. Okay, I took some damage, but that's okay. No biggie. Dragon thing. All the weapons generally behave like they did in Monster Hunter Ultimate. They are a little bit easier to use. I think it's nice that the marksman stuff, like the bows and stuff, all play. They all basically. I could get my stamina back. And this is really great to have. And helps out the fact that they did improve the these type of controls for your ranged weapons, because it does feel more or less like you're playing a third-person shooter. That's a bonus to me. Try to kill these creatures. One of the things that always wore me out with Monster Hunter Ultimate, and I don't know if it was because it was originally Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, but they had a... Okay, so I got these guys. In the original game, the monsters in Monster Hunter Ultimate, for example, would disappear after just a few seconds. And I'm glad to say that these really don't until you kind of harvest them and do what you got to do. And again, I'm just kind of like harvesting parts, doing what I got to do. And it's just a great game. Monster Hunter has a certain vibe about it and an addicting quality about it. And it's really important to, like the other games like God Eater and stuff are really a lot of fun. And they are fun to play. There's a big creature there. No way I could probably fight this creature. I better go like run and try to hide. Yeah, well, see, one hit killed me there from a feint. That kind of sucks. I'm back at base camp because there's no way I can fight that thing. I will say this, it's nice to see this game getting some really stellar reviews, and it's nice to see this game on there and to play a game like this. And like I said, Monster Hunter is this unique gameplay loop and cycle and stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. It's just a blast to play, and totally worth your time and money and energy in playing. And there's so much that can be said about this, and this is why this is a part one, because it's late in the day, and I'm not new to the series, but I'm new to this game, and I want to come back with a part two and talk a little bit more in detail and scope about the game. This has been episode 72 of the Gaming Roundtable, Monster Hunter World Part 1. I know it's late today. I want to thank you for subscribing. I'm going to talk a little bit way more in depth about this tomorrow and tomorrow night, and have a better video for you all. And I appreciate my subscribers, and thank you for tuning in and watching a little bit of this Monster Hunter World gameplay. And as always, gamers, good gaming.